Level 1. The Academy Student. The first thing they teach you is how to throw a kunai. You are 12 years old. You have spent 3 years inside Konoha's Ninja Academy, learning the history of the 5 great nations, memorizing chakra theory, drilling hand seals until your fingers cramp. You have not yet earned your headband. You are not yet a shinobi. You are a child who has decided to become a weapon, and the village is deciding whether it agrees. Of the 30 kids in your class, roughly a third will graduate. The rest go back to civilian life. You practice the 3 foundational jutsu: clone technique, transformation technique, substitution technique, until the instructors stop correcting you. Some of your classmates are prodigies. One of them activated his Sharingan before he ever graduated. You are not a prodigy. You are someone who practices until the gap closes. Nobody tells you how many people die in this profession. Nobody explains what a bingo book is or why your name appearing in one means something very specific about your future. Nobody mentions that the cheerful instructor grading your taijutsu forms has personally buried 11 former students. You are 12. The village prefers you motivated rather than informed. The graduation exam. Demonstrate the clone technique. The kid in the class before you failed it 3 times. He graduated eventually. He became the most feared shinobi alive. The academy exam measures almost nothing about what you will actually become. You pass. Your instructor places the headband in your hands, cold metal, the symbol of the leaf pressed into it. You have no idea what you just agreed to. Level 2. The Genin. You are now the lowest ranked shinobi in the village. 3-person team. Jōnin Sensei. The first thing your sensei does is set a survival test. 2 bells, 3 of you, with the implicit message that the academy taught you everything except the one thing that actually matters. No one survives this world alone. Half of Konoha's teams fail this test and return to the academy. You do not fail. D-rank missions. You locate missing cats, you pull weeds, you paint the Hokage's fence. You are paid roughly the cost of a bowl of Ichiraku ramen per day. The village is not paying you to fight. It is paying you to prove you can take direction without getting killed on something trivial. Then comes the C-rank escort job that turns into something else entirely. Your hands shake on the first real mission, not just from fear, from the physical sensation of understanding that the person across from you is not stopping when the drill ends. This is the first time in your life that someone has genuinely tried to kill you. Some Genin freeze permanently at this moment. You do not freeze. The Chūnin exams. The written portion is a trap. The real test is whether you cheat correctly. The Forest of Death puts you inside with a scroll and the understanding that not everyone walks out. The preliminaries happen in a pit, while foreign shinobi in the stands evaluate which of you are worth eliminating before the final round. There is a boy from Suna in that pit who looks at you like you are furniture. You knew, intellectually, that monsters existed. You understand it physically now. You come home still wearing a Genin's vest. You train harder. Level 3. The Chūnin. You pass on your second attempt. You are now a squad leader. The village trusts you, for the first time, to make decisions that affect other people. Not suggestions, decisions. If a Genin under your command dies because you misread the situation, that is on you. You understand now why Shikamaru looked the way he did after the Sasuke retrieval mission. Not defeated, just quietly recalibrated about what command actually costs. C-rank and B-rank missions. Escort work. Intelligence gathering. The mission briefing says low risk. The mission demonstrates exactly what the village considers low risk to mean. You are eligible to teach at the academy. Standing in front of 12-year-olds who look at you like you are the finished product is disorienting. Iruka-sensei has been doing this for years, with a scar across his nose his students never ask about. You understand him differently now. Iruka is a Chūnin. Iruka is the reason an entire generation of Konoha shinobi did not break. Many shinobi stay at Chūnin their entire careers. This is not failure. The village needs the infrastructure, instructors, coordinators, administrators, as much as it needs combatants. A Chūnin who is excellent at what they do is worth more to Konoha than a mediocre Jōnin who gets their team killed. You know this. It is not what you are aiming for. Jōnin promotion is not an exam. It is a recommendation. Accumulated mission performance, demonstrated leadership, the kind of combat ability that makes senior shinobi pay attention when your name comes up. There is no clear line, just the slow accumulation of evidence and the hope that the right people are watching when you prove it. Level 4. The Tokubetsu Jōnin. You did not make full Jōnin. Tokubetsu Jōnin, special Jōnin, means Jōnin level ability in one specific domain. Genjutsu maybe, interrogation, tracking. Think of Ibiki Morino, the man who ran the torture and interrogation force, who proctored the Chūnin exam's written portion with a face that made hardened foreign shinobi reconsider their choices. Think of Anko Mitarashi, Cursed Seal, Snake Contract, deployed for the Forest of Death because her particular psychology makes her the right person for it. These are not second-tier shinobi. These are the people the village calls when one very specific thing needs to happen and only one person can make it happen. You are that person in your specialty. You are not the team leader on joint missions. You are the expert brought in to solve a specific problem and step back. It is useful. It is also, if you feel it clearly, a little like being told the village is not sure about the rest of you yet. You fill in every gap. You wait until the evidence is overwhelming. Level 5. The Jōnin. A rank by default. S rank when the situation warrants. Enemy territory alone. No supervisor. The village sends you. You may be assigned a Genin team. 3 kids who look at you the way you once looked at your own sensei. Nobody told you teaching would be the hardest thing you ever do. Not because explaining is hard, but because you have to decide, constantly, how much danger is the right amount of danger. Too much and they break. Too little and they stagnate. 3 people, 3 different limits, in real time, in the field. Think about Minato Namikaze's team, Kakashi, Obito, Rin. One of them died on a mission. One survived and carried that death for decades in a way that changed everything about who he became. One, Minato never knew, survived the mission but was lost in a completely different way, a way that would come back to destroy whole villages later. 3 Genin, 1 sensei. The consequences stretched across an entire generation. That is the math. You understand it now. The village watches Jōnin closely. Not from distrust, but because the Hokage draws the next layer of leadership from this pool. If your name comes up enough times in the right rooms, someone knocks on your door with something you did not ask for. Level 6. The ANBU. Nobody asks if you want this. They observe you for months first. They evaluate your psychological profile, your mission record, your capacity to operate in gray areas without becoming something the village cannot control. Then someone approaches, quietly, no ceremony. You can decline. Very few do. Ansatsu Senjutsu Tokushubutai, Special Assassination and Tactical Squad. You receive a code name. A porcelain animal mask, painted, yours specifically. The spiral tattoo on your left shoulder. The mask is not ceremonial. The mask is the point. Inside the ANBU, identity is a liability. Your name is not used. Your face is not seen. Assassinations, covert surveillance, counterintelligence, protection of the Hokage. The village needs to be able to do things it cannot officially admit to doing. You agreed to be the mechanism through which those things happen. You execute targets the village has decided must die. You do not interrogate whether the decision is correct. That determination was made above your level, by people with more information than you have. You do the job. You do not discuss it. After long enough, the identity behind the mask and the identity in front of it begin to feel equally fictional. Itachi Uchiha became an ANBU captain at 13, the youngest in Konoha's recorded history. At 13, he had already surpassed Jōnin level. At 13, he was being handed missions veteran shinobi were too psychologically fragile to complete. When you learn this, you do not feel impressed. You feel the specific cold weight of understanding what it means that a 13-year-old was the most qualified person available for that particular work, and what that work eventually asked him to do. You keep your mask clean. You do not name it. You know better. Level 7. The ANBU Captain. You lead a team now, 4 operatives, all masked. Your job is to run the mission and bring them home, and when those 2 objectives conflict, you make a decision you will own completely and alone. At captain level, you learn that not all ANBU report to the Hokage. There is another layer. Danzo Shimura runs a division called Root, officially disbanded, operationally alive. Root takes shinobi, sometimes children, scouted directly from the academy, and strips out the emotional responses that make a shinobi hesitate. Paired combat drills, systematic conditioning, cursed seals placed on the tongue that prevent members from ever speaking about Root to anyone outside it. Sai, the operative with the ink techniques and the smile that never reached his eyes, was Root. He did not choose it. He was placed there young enough that choice was not really the operating concept. You are not Root. You operate under the Hokage's direct authority. But you have seen Root operatives in the field. You cannot see their faces, obviously, but you can read their movement patterns. The complete absence of hesitation. The way they execute without any of the micro delays that indicate a person is still making a decision rather than carrying one out. You know what was done to produce that. You know it is being done to children. You say nothing. Because the village is a survival entity, not a moral one, and you understood that when you put the mask on. You keep telling yourself you understood that. The village cycles ANBU captains back into Jōnin roles, gives them Genin teams, returns them to daylight. Kakashi came back this way, the Icha Icha books held in front of his face, the eye that stays covered, never quite fully present in any room. He teaches. He is good at it. The distance he maintains from everyone around him is not personality, it is structural consequence. When the rotation comes, you take the Genin team. You put the mask away. You are not sure it stays away. Level 8. The Hokage. You did not want this. You did not campaign for it. The previous Hokage told you, or the council decided and brought it to you as something already settled. Or you were the last person standing after a war and the village needed a name that still meant something. Your face gets carved into the mountain. It joins Hashirama, the god of shinobi, who believed love was the foundation of a functioning village. Tobirama, who invented the reanimation jutsu and understood that love without infrastructure is just sentiment. Hiruzen, the professor, who knew every jutsu in Konoha's history and died in his own office, sealing a man's soul, defending children with his last breath. Minato, the yellow flash, who split his own soul and sealed half of a 9-tailed demon fox into his newborn son, because there was no other option, and some decisions don't have a version where everyone survives. 4 faces. The mountain does not show what it cost. You sign mission briefings for shinobi who will not come home. You sit in councils deciding which alliances to make against which threats. You carry every secret. The Uchiha massacre, and who gave the order and why. The truth about Pain's identity and what Jiraiya knew and didn't live to report. The existence of Root, and how long the third Hokage allowed it because the alternative was civil war. You carry all of it. You carry it alone. The Hokage has no one to confess to. Every person beneath you sees the title first. The advisors are managing their own agendas. The people closest to you worry about worrying you. The isolation is not loneliness. It is the specific experience of being the point at which all information, all responsibility, and all consequence converge, with nowhere above you to escalate. The pattern is not subtle. The third died protecting the village. The fourth died protecting his son and his village at the same time. The fifth was dragged from self-imposed exile because Jiraiya was dead and someone had to hold Konoha together. And she held it through an invasion and a world war with hands steady enough to heal everyone around her while her own heart was breaking. You are the Hokage now. The village looks up at your face on the mountain and feels safe. You look at the mission reports on your desk and know exactly how complicated safe actually is. You sign the next briefing, you send them out, you wait. You knew this was the job when you were 12 years old throwing kunai at wooden posts, and the will of fire was just words your instructor said, and you wanted it anyway. The will of fire does not protect you from the cost of carrying it. It just means you carry it anyway.